Remember when Cat Williams went on Club Shay Shay and openly talked about Diddy, almost a full year before any investigation even existed? At the time, people laughed it off. They said Cat was exaggerating. Some even called him crazy. But then, months later, the investigations began. Raids followed. And suddenly, those comments didn't sound so wild anymore.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.G. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light. Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. I don't want to look at nothing I don't want to have. Because I know how blessed I am. If I look at it, I got it. That's how Diddy be feeling.
Come on, man.
Now, Cat Williams is making an even more shocking claim. According to him, Diddy was never the one truly in control. He says Diddy was just a pawn, another piece on the board. And the person with the real power, the one pulling every string behind the scenes, is still out there untouched, unseen, and completely free.
What's happening, Puff? I'll be back to you if JD ain't had enough. Yeah. Jermaine Dupri, king of the pedal, if you ask me, babe.
In this video, we're breaking down every name Cat Williams mentioned, how those people are connected, and the clues that suggest Diddy may have been operating under influence far bigger than himself.
Motherfuckers be gay in Hollywood, you never expect it. They be having these big ass mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms. I ain't been famous that goddamn long. I'm excited in a motherfucker to be at the mansion party. You be looking at all the goddamn rooms, and you around and look in the wrong room and shit. Come here, come here. Is that 2 niggas kissing? Is one of them niggas Professor O?
In Hollywood, power isn't just about fame, it's about money and control. Some believe Diddy didn't become a billionaire by accident. He was allowed to rise that high, and along the way, he didn't question where the money came from or what it demanded in return. He was willing to pay the price, even if that meant sacrificing his integrity. Dave Chappelle was offered that same level of money, a reported $50 million deal. But Dave walked away, because he understood the real cost. It wasn't just a contract, it was control.
And they do what's called a salt trap. I didn't know this, apparently baboons love salt.
Okay.
So they put a lump of salt in a hole, and they wait for the baboon. The baboon comes, sticks his hand in the hole, grabs the salt makes his hand bigger, and he's trapped, he can't get his hand out. Now, if he's smart, all he does is let go of the salt. Baboon doesn't want to let go of the salt. Then the bushman just comes, takes the baboon, throws him in the cage, and gives him all the salt he wants. And then the baboon gets thirsty, the bushman lets him out of the cage. The first place the baboon runs to is water, bushman follows him, and they both drink to their fill. And in that analogy, I felt like the baboon. But I was smart enough to let go of the salt.
Cat Williams says he was offered $50 million for separate times. And every single time, he turned it down. Later, he explained why. Because sometimes protecting what truly matters means walking away from money, no matter how big the offer is. And here's where things take a turn. When Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams both said no, the industry didn't respect the decision, it reacted. Dave was publicly called crazy on national television for refusing a deal many believed came with strings attached. And Cat says that after speaking out about abuse and power dynamics, he was quietly pushed out, shut down by an industry that doesn't take kindly to people who refuse to fall in line.
Completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When I saw
When you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see it before. Look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time in their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
No.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress.
This is where Diddy enters the story. Cat Williams claims that Diddy was never acting alone, and that Jay-Z was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes. Some people who were once close to Diddy have echoed similar suspicions. According to these accounts, Jay-Z was never really Diddy's closest ally. In fact, Cat suggests the relationship was far more tense than the public ever realized. And during the past year, as investigations around Diddy began to surface, Jay-Z stayed completely silent. Cat's interpretation is simple. Once Diddy stopped being useful, the support disappeared. In that world, loyalty doesn't last forever. Only leverage does.
I see them giving garden parties. You understand what I'm saying? You could tell that the people in power had gave that reign to Diddy, and Jay was next in line. So to separate him, when in fact they may be two of the same, but because Jay-Z is low-key, that low-key sneaky shit, and Diddy is, and was rambunctious, just out with it, it don't mean that they not two of the same. One just a little quieter with it.
According to Cat Williams, the real power doesn't sit with Diddy, it sits higher. He believes Jay-Z is the one in control, and that his influence is far more dangerous precisely because it's quieter. Unlike Diddy, Jay-Z rarely draws attention to himself. He stays out of the spotlight, moves in silence, and lets others take the heat. And this is where the story takes an even sharper turn. Cat claims Jay-Z wasn't operating alone. Behind the scenes, he says Jay-Z was aligned with powerful industry figures, working quietly to shape and control the music business from the shadows.
Davis put Sean Combs in position. That's what Clive Davis does. The amount of abuse that Janis Joplin suffered when she wanted to leave Clive Davis management. The amount of abuse Whitney Houston suffered when she was ready to write her book. And then all of the abuses that she suffered. Luther Vandross, that was nasty work, Clive. Swinging it at Jay-Z's knees. I'm swinging it at Clive Davis's knees. And I'm swinging it at anybody else's knees who has had anything to do with this tyranny, with this evil.
According to this narrative, this is where everything begins, with Clive Davis. Together, Clive Davis and Jay-Z are seen as two of the most powerful figures in hip-hop history. And the claim is simple but unsettling. Major moves in the industry don't happen randomly. They happen only when people at that level allow them to happen.
My focus right now is Sean Combs because he's a trafficker. Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, Clive Davis.
Rumor has it, allegedly, Diddy got on his knees for Clive Davis in 1994.
But he got a boss too, and his boss name is Clive Davis. Clive run him. Diddy don't run himself.
Jim Deal has said something very similar. According to him, this is where it all really started, with Clive Davis. Long before Diddy, long before Jay-Z, before the public power plays and headlines. The claim is that Clive was already operating behind the scenes, shaping careers, deciding who rose, who fell, and who stayed protected. And according to this narrative, Diddy didn't become what we see today on his own. He was molded into it. And this is where the story takes its most shocking turn. Allegedly, once Diddy realized that Jay-Z and Clive Davis were only using him, and that he was eventually going to be discarded, he turned on them. The claim is that he began cooperating with federal authorities, acting as an informant for years. Supposedly, Jay-Z and Clive only discovered this much later. And once they did, the protection vanished. In this version of events, strings were pulled, pressure was applied, and Diddy was suddenly no longer untouchable. Whether true or not, one thing is clear. In the music industry, loyalty doesn't last forever. And once you stop being useful, the fall comes fast.
And that's not my doing. That's not Cassie doing. That's his doing and his learned behavior from the people that mentored him. You got to realize, man, he learned from Andre Harrell. He learned from Russell Simmons. He learned from Clyde Davis. You understand? When those people are telling you that they were heavy into the drugs, they was heavy into beating women and doing things at that age, at that crazy stage, that's gonna make him think that he could get away with the same thing that they was getting away with back then. You understand? The things that he was saying, you know, the touchy-feely between two men and all that stuff like that, man. All that, he learned that from them dudes. When I told y'all the story, when me and my man went up to Russell Simmons and he had a house and he had a man in bikini drawers in his bedroom, in his bed. You understand? Bruh, this is that he learned. I'm assuming he learned it from them. Let me put that. And I'm not gonna say alleged because I saw that for my own self. My man was with me, Slick was with me, and we saw that for our own self.
When asked whether he ever had any direct involvement with Diddy, the answer was straightforward. Yes, there was a professional connection. A few records were produced, with Diddy's producers contributing to the War and Peace album, specifically the Peace disc. The work itself was described as smooth and professional. Trips were made to New York, time was spent in the studio, and most of the interaction was with Diddy's production team rather than Diddy himself. By all accounts, the music came together well. But after that, the connection faded. Around 1994, contact stopped almost entirely. There wasn't any dramatic fallout, just distance. Different paths. Different priorities. No parties. No social overlap. In fact, it was made clear that Diddy's party scene was never part of the appeal to begin with. And this is where the narrative takes a darker turn. According to long-standing allegations, Diddy was quietly cooperating with federal authorities for years, sharing information in exchange for protection. The claim is that this cooperation is why he avoided the most severe consequences, even when serious charges loomed. Some go further, suggesting that federal investigators were actually aiming higher, at figures like Jay-Z and Clive Davis, and that Diddy was prepared to give them everything. Despite never publicly testifying, he still managed to walk away from multiple situations that could have ended his career, or his freedom. To critics of the system, that outcome doesn't look accidental. It looks strategic. Whether these claims are true or not, they fueled one persistent belief: that in the music industry, justice isn't always about guilt or innocence. It's about leverage, usefulness, and who still holds value behind closed doors.
Diddy. You're hearing Diddy everywhere. Okay?
Yeah.
So, did you ever have any kind of run-in with Diddy? Did you ever do anything with Diddy? Any projects you worked on with him?
He produced a few records, or had his producers do a few records on my War and Peace album, the Peace disc. Yeah.
How was he to work with?
It was cool. You know, he gave us great music. We flew out to New York, and I was mainly in the studio with the producer. You know, he had a stable of producers, so I was in the studio with his stable of producers, and I think we did some great music. And you know, I really kind of, lost contact with him and really stopped, dealing with Puffy around 94.
Yeah. Any specific reason?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they was doing their thing, I was doing mine. And, you know, I'm not the partying type. You know what I mean? I ain't never been to a Diddy party. Ain't never really wanted to go. But I don't go to a lot of people parties. You know, that just ain't what I'm in it for.
According to these allegations, Diddy wasn't just building wealth. He was building leverage. The belief is that he was quietly gathering information on powerful people at the top, preparing to use it if he ever needed to. Those close to the situation claim he thought he had finally reached a point where he could stop being controlled and start taking control himself. It wasn't just about money or status anymore. It was about names, favors, and secrets. The kind of information that only matters once you're ready to use it.
They'll let you do crimes, as long as you don't do no murders and stuff like that. They'll let you go around and pay you to protect him. You understand? To protect him. We had a lot of people on the payroll when we was doing security. Everybody had, somebody might have this first 10 hours, that 10 hours, or whatever. He was paying law enforcement. He had a budget for law enforcement. Now, if something goes wrong, those people got friends in certain places. Then plus he tells his handler, yo, can you make this go away for me? I'll give you this and that. Now, that could be a lot of speculations or whatever like that. But why would you have or be working for a FBI agent if you're not an informant? Why? So when you got that kind of money, you could hire people to make a lot of things go away for you. Like you hire lawyers. Those lawyers have police officers and people working for them, and investigators. Those investigators were former officers. So all of them in the backyard in Diddy bed together.
How does it go on for so long? You know, when we were on the street, we didn't get a day's rest. I mean, the government was all over us. The FBI is all over us. They got investigations on us. They got informants. They got surveillance equipment.
He was not cutting you off, but he was an informant for years.
Was he really?
Yeah. That's why when people was like, oh, he's going to run, oh, he's not. It's the reason why these type of people get caught up. They always been telling they bigger than the law because they part of the law, you know? And as you know, all these people get targeted.
The problem, according to this narrative, is that Diddy underestimated just how powerful his enemies really were. He believed that once he was behind bars, he was finally out of reach. But then the rumors started, claims that he was preparing to talk, possibly even confess. And not long after those whispers began circulating, an attack followed. To those watching closely, the message was clear. Even in custody, protection wasn't guaranteed. And whoever wanted him silent wasn't willing to take any chances.
It's all about the money. They saw what he did to Cassie. With the kicking, the punching. They saw what they did to Cassie. They know that nobody in America liked that. So now, these people are represented by a brand. Whether it's some about the music, clothing, movies. They're not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them. And they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey, buddy, we got you on this tape. And girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean Combs. That's when they're gonna start talking. And they're not gonna be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape.
What's striking is that every name Cat Williams mentioned during his Club Shay Shay interview later started appearing in headlines. One of the most talked about examples involves T.D. Jakes. Cat claimed there was a connection between Diddy and T.D. Jakes. Then, just months later, T.D. Jakes' name surfaced in a lawsuit that alleged Diddy had been paying him to help improve his public image. Whether coincidence or not, moments like this are why people started revisiting Cat Williams' words with a very different perspective.
Something very scary happened to him. One of his close friends is speaking out and saying that while he was sleeping at the MDC Brooklyn jail, somebody came and put a knife, pressed it to his throat. Now, as I keep digging into the story, they're saying, yes, a correctional officer or a police officer was the one who came and basically helped him out and, quote unquote, saved him. Yes. And so, you know, obviously Diddy's lawyers are trying to use this as a way to just get him even moved to a different location. But right now, everything is kind of staying as is.
Yeah, his safety being an issue when he's supposed to be, you know, I think in some sort of protected environment. You know, remember MDC, isn't that where the Epstein situation happened?
Yeah. Is he safe though? And you say something about him getting stabbed?
I was going to say, Diddy's team is saying no, he's not going to be safe because in court we found out that there was an attempt on Diddy's life, that there was a man that attempted to shank him, but they stopped it, the correctional officers. And they say Diddy didn't even want people to know that he didn't want to make it a big deal. But of course they're having that conversation about will he be safe because of who he is and how high profile this case is.
Right.
They're also having a conversation. Mark Geragos is a high profile attorney, a friend of Diddy's, but also the dad of Teenie Geragos, who led Diddy's defense about Diddy potentially being raped in court. And we can and just attacks on his life because they say that people look at him as like a trophy or a prize and to do something to him.
Well, what if other inmates hear all of the stuff that we've been hearing in the news all of these weeks and they scared of Diddy?
That's not how they presented it. I don't.
That's crazy to say Diddy's a trophy. Like he's looked at as a trophy in jail is crazy.
Less than 6 months later, T.D. Jakes stepped down from his position. No detailed explanation followed. Only silence. To many watching closely, it looked like someone who understood the pressure ahead and chose to step aside before things escalated.
World-renowned Dallas pastor T.D. Jakes is named in a federal lawsuit against musician Sean Diddy Combs.
It's filed by a producer that worked with Combs. It discusses how the singer planned to leverage his relationship with the bishop to soften the impact on his public image of Casey Ventura's lawsuit. Ventura is a former girlfriend of Combs who filed her own lawsuit in November alleging violence and trafficking.
Could this federal investigation have come out of these private lawsuits?
Oh, absolutely. If it involves trafficking or drugs or weapons or other illegal behavior.
Lori Levinson is a former federal prosecutor.
They've decided this is worth a lot of resources across the country. So once they've done these searches, they have evidence to follow up on. And if they've got it, they'll move on it.
That's why people get on my nerves talking about who you should be seen with. I do homeless shelters. I walk in prison ministries. I deal with murders. I deal with rapes and because they're our children, our sons.
With T.D. Jakes out of the picture, the pressure around Diddy only intensified. And according to critics, he suddenly needed a new way to repair his public image, fast. But instead of calming things down, the situation exploded. Around the same time, reports surfaced about a high-profile documentary project produced by 50 Cent for Netflix, focused on the allegations surrounding Diddy. The project was described as revealing, with claims that it included previously unseen material and insider accounts that painted a damaging picture of what was happening behind closed doors. And that's where things took an unexpected turn. Faced with mounting scrutiny, the question became, how does Diddy respond to a documentary like that? According to speculation, his answer wasn't silence, but a documentary of his own.
This was a shock to many in the religious community. Bishop T.D. Jakes has been a spiritual advisor to presidents and a religious voice to thousands. Now he says it's time to pass the baton to a new generation.
This is a beautiful moment for me.
From the pulpit Sunday, Bishop T.D. Jakes announced that he was stepping down from leadership at the Potter's House, the Dallas megachurch he founded in 1996 and has led ever since.
I cannot afford, especially after November, to risk something happening to me, and you be sheep without a shepherd.
This is video from the service Jakes is referencing in November. It wasn't until months after his medical incident that he confirmed to the public he had a heart attack. Now, 5 months later, he told his congregation he had been preparing his daughter, Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts, and his son-in-law, Pastor Torrey Roberts, to take the lead.
According to multiple reports and claims circulating online, Diddy didn't actually have organic support outside the courtroom. The allegation is that people seen holding signs and chanting weren't longtime fans at all. Instead, they were allegedly being paid to be there, described by some sources as employees rather than genuine supporters. If true, it paints a stark picture. A public show of loyalty that may have been staged, revealing just how little real support remained once the cameras were gone.
Documentary coming out, and this time it is coming from the perspective of Diddy and his sons. All the time I thought we were about to leave Diddy in 2025. Well, this documentary is coming in 2026. And a lot of people, just like myself, are already not feeling this new documentary coming from Diddy's sons. A lot of people aren't happy about it and actually shocked that the owner of Zeus Network, Lemmy, is doing this Diddy documentary. But what a lot of people fail to forget is Lemmy and Diddy have been friends for quite some time.
Of his children arriving in court for day one of their father's trial in New York, hands gripped in solidarity.
Do you still believe your dad's innocent? How did you feel hearing that testimony? Have you apologized on behalf of your father? Do you believe your father's innocent? Do you still think your father's innocent? Your daddy got 4 years! Your daddy got 4 years for abusing women! That's wrong! You should get more!
The foes, the joy, the pain, our voice, the loyalty, the betrayal, the lies, the love, the hate, the truth, the lies. And Diddy calling from Fort Dix.
This is a prepaid collect call from Federal Correctional Institution, Fort Dix.
When they released this trailer last night, there were so many comments to Lemmy and Zeus Network that they did not want to see this. A lot of people feel like this whole new documentary is just a PR narrative once again being pushed by Diddy and his sons to try to clean up his image. And after hearing certain things on 50 Cent's Netflix documentary, we have to go back in time and remember what we were seeing during trial. Even when it came to Diddy's sons, Christian and Justin Combs, they both came on 2 separate occasions to trial wearing a free Sean Combs shirt. The first one to do this was Christian Combs during Jane's testimony, and you're not supposed to wear this stuff in front of a jury to try to sway their opinions. And the judge actually told him he had to leave and take it off. And then literally like a week later, Justin did the same exact thing. It was taken out of the courtroom by the judge. And we already saw the videos in the Netflix doc of Diddy talking to Justin, saying he needed to push out certain content to control a narrative. During the trial, there were a lot of things going on that I could see that to me felt like it was just straight PR. Do you remember all of these people that were wearing the free Diddy shirts? And it was actually a meme coin that's on their shirt. It's money sign Diddy.
As more names resurface, more insiders speak out, and old clips continue to go viral, Diddy's usual allies are nowhere to be seen. No public backing. No industry rally. No powerful voices stepping in to defend him. And to many observers, this only reinforces what Cat Williams had been suggesting all along. Whatever protection once existed is gone. For the first time, Diddy appears to be standing alone.
Why do you feel that way?
These are all paid protesters. You can get $20 an hour if you wear a t-shirt.
You gotta speak up.
She just got recruited, right?
I refuse.
You said no.
No.
It wasn't worth the 20?
No, but like he told me that it's for a Diddy coin, so I'm not really sure what that is.
Would you do this?
According to reports, Diddy is aggressively trying to have the documentary taken down. His legal team has reportedly issued cease and desist notices and is threatening major legal action against both 50 Cent and Netflix, with figures being discussed that reach into the billions. However, those close to the production say 50 Cent obtained the footage through legal means, making any attempt to erase it far more complicated than expected.
Never before seen footage of Sean Diddy Combs in the days leading up to his arrest in New York last September.
You want to put the stuff in my fanny pack, King?
The exclusive video obtained by Netflix shows Combs debating with his lawyers about strategy.
Listen to me. I'm going to get off the phone right now, and I am going to let you professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution. No matter what nobody said. Let's just here and there, y'all are not working together the right way. We're losing.
The footage is part of a new highly anticipated docuseries by director Alex Stapleton and rapper and executive producer Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, titled Sean Combs: The Reckoning. Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching?
I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. You know, he has a really amazing knack for marketing and all of that, and how he was sort of taking that into account in how he was coming off to the public.
Diddy's legal team is now demanding that Netflix pull the series, threatening legal action, and claiming the platform is using footage that was never authorized for release. They've described the project as a so-called hit piece built on material they say was improperly obtained. The series is executive produced by Diddy's longtime rival, 50 Cent, alongside director Alex Stapleton. In response, Stapleton has pushed back, stating, "We obtained the footage legally and have the necessary rights." Before the cease and desist letter was sent, Stapleton and 50 Cent sat down with Robin Roberts to discuss the series and address the controversy surrounding it.
I am going to let you professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution.
Now it's your turn. After everything Cat Williams has spoken about, what do you think? Was Diddy just a pawn in something much bigger? Or is there still more beneath the surface? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Because if recent history has shown us anything, this story isn't finished. More names are surfacing. More footage is coming out. And more revelations may be right around the corner.
I'll accept it.
And then saying this about the interaction moments later.
I need some hand sanitizer. Hold on. I got it. I've been out in the streets amongst the people. Yeah, I gotta take a bath. Like the amount of people that actually I'm coming in contact with, like that's what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? Oh. It's like 150 hugs.